Beat and
Dot tech.
there we go.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
And then that's gonna pick up too. This is my like little janky. But I always keep these two in my backpack. Yeah. And then I got
this is going to go.
Yeah, that's, I just put it.
I whole time got this. Do I? Is it? Always a tripod on me, but you put your phone right there.
I ain't never seen that.
You never know, you need a tripod, I'm just saying. Like,
Prepared, stay
you
ready.
gotta be ready, okay? There's been times like, man, I really want this picture.
See?
Is this a recording? I think so. I'll just go ahead and do one. Same thing. Okay, everything should be good. Audio's good. We can start over with intros. And then, but after that, you're just gonna kind of roll into the questions?
Yeah, I'm just
okay.
going to go into it from there.
Cool. Alright, hey guys. No, hi everybody. My YouTube voice. Hi everybody, my name is Jerome Dawson Jr. and I am the founder and CEO of Musicaid.
Awesome. And I'm Tim Guzebu, co-founder here at Bamboo Technologies. Yeah, obviously we got Jerome here in the studio. Wanted to just go ahead and have a quick interview, talk about some things you have going on with Musicaid. But before we get into all of that, I'd love to at least hear from your side. For people that don't know you already, just a quick personal introduction, who you are, what you're about, and we'll some stuff from there. So.
Oh, you know, I am, not to brag, but literally music prophecy. So like, I think my upbringing definitely comes from music. But a little bit more about me, I was born in Shreveport, raised in Dallas, but my second home is Chicago. I love photography, love music, love being creative. I spent 10 years in branding, tech, business development, consulting. So just one day, I felt like I had a lot of talents and skills spread thin in a lot of different projects. And I find out that when you focus on one thing, things usually go well. So I didn't know Musicaid would become that, but I did know I wanted to work on an app to find DJs and independent artists, and it's grown since then.
Amazing. I'm curious as well. I always like to get a little bit deeper into people's stories as far as kind of where they've been able to like grow those skill sets. So obviously now we're talking about the launch of Musicaid. But before then, you've been involved in so many different things, right?
Yeah.
On the marketing side, project management, right? How do you think those experiences has kind of prepared you for where we're at right now?
When you're a founder, you gotta do it all. Like, you gotta literally. There's been times where I'm setting up the stage to creating graphics and marketing to setting up the studio to working with the development teams. I think that's what allows me to get Musicaid where it is today, and be able to provide that much direction and make sure we establish that culture as well, where everyone feels they're included, collaborative. But I've learned the importance of just speaking the language of who I'm working with. So developers, they look for certain things. DJs want to hear certain things. So due to my experience, I've learned the jargon and the knowledge to be able to communicate that vision across.
I think that's a huge thing as well, especially myself being kind of software native. When I'm communicating with individuals who have taken the time to really understand, how to speak that language, it's just a mutual level of respect that we can kind of both have that same kind of level of discourse there. So that's huge. Just as far as that communication. But before we get too far and kind of bury the lead here, I guess give everyone a synopsis, kind of a little bit of a summary as far as what Musicaid is, kind of what it's all about.
Like I said, originally it was an app to just find DJs. It really started with my pain point of I'm in Chicago. I think my breaking point, I waited in 0-degree weather to get into this club, and I get there, and it's just not the music that I wanted to hear. And I was like, I've had it, like I'm done. And so the app was just like, I want the ability to just find the DJs that I like, know where they're playing, know where to go, and then just like go from there. But as I learned more about the industry and the live music industry and the pains within it, Music Ed really developed to a SaaS platform built specifically for venues, artists, and DJs locally, where we're kind of creating economic opportunities and converting the live music scene into cultural hubs. So they can collaborate together in the system, book contracts, gigs, promote all in one, because that's what we saw with the need was.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing, especially kind of going 0 to 1, is like you just mentioned, right? Having an initial kind of thesis. Typically, it's going to be based on a problem that you're facing as well. So
right.
I
mean, I don't know if you ever stood in Chicago club. It's like, bro.
I mean, so myself originally from Boston, I'm like, I'm going to Chicago. You know, I can handle this. Right?
Yeah.
I touched down that win.
That's
Straight to the bone, right? So I can definitely feel the pain from your experience there. But I mean, like I said, just solving your own problem first and foremost, right? Making a solution that will work for yourself.
Right.
But I think one thing that I can definitely tip my hat off to you that you've done really well is also having conversations with those users, right? And figuring out, right, who are these stakeholders? What problems do they also have? And how can we build a comprehensive solution that can, really tie in, right, all of those different pain points and really bring something together that people are going to be excited to use and feel about. So I'm curious on your side, right? How was that process for you, like, going to these different venues and speak to these different stakeholders? Like, what was the response? What were the pain points that you saw that they had that maybe you didn't initially kind of foresee there? And then how were you able to kind of tie that into one comprehensive kind of product roadmap?
I think it's really what you said though, like getting in front of the users. So even before I met you guys, I had like an initial prototype. And even if it was just like a sketch, but then I showed it to my DJ friends, like, did you use something like this? Like, would this be helpful to you? And it was like, yeah, actually. But then in that moment, they will give you ideas. Like, they will tell you, like I think Scotty's a DJ, you know Scotty. He was one of the first DJs who saw the prototype. And he was like, what I need on here the most is I need to be able to show my portfolio. And I was like, I didn't even think of that. So, but the more insight that you get, the better. But your second part of the question is how do you incorporate that into the roadmap? Is prioritization, right? You're gonna hear a lot of opinions. You're gonna hear a lot of a lot of thoughts. I think from my experience, there was once in a time I was a product manager across 400 different people, 20 different development pods, enterprise-wide company. So obviously everyone has an opinion.
For sure.
My whole job was to really figure out, to filter out what goes and what doesn't. And it really just hit on two main things, and it's like so basic, but stick to it, is value and effort. Like, does this idea address enough pain for this user, or does it bring enough value to this user? Does it even bring in revenue? Maybe will it increase your subscription? Will it bring in more ads? Whatever, right? But then this is the hardest part, is listening to your development team. What does it take to actually build that? Does it take 2 sprints, 3 sprints? Does it take an entire PI? Do we need to restructure the architecture? Right? Like, is it worth the effort? But even so, what that means to me is that we can still do it, but we might need to chip away at this mountain, right? Or this is a quick win. And I think just by going off of that and learning the market is a sure way to know you're meeting a market need, but you're also still within your resources.
100%. Yeah, I think transparently with us, right? A lot of the founders that we do work with are coming from like a non-technical background, but I will say, having someone who has that right and experience can speak that language makes things a lot easier having those discussions, because you are right? How we kind of frame it is like, what is the most asymmetric subset of features that we can focus on right now? Right. And when you break that down, it does come down to value and effort. Right? What's kind of the
I'm sorry, I was just thought, but like, don't be afraid to get that wrong. Like, I think my initial MVP that we built out was enough. Like, it's an MVP, it's enough to get into the market. But as we learn and talk more and more to users, I was like, we need a second release because there's a whole other need here that I didn't even see. And I was like, that's where the revenue is. And so I was like, let's keep building what we're building. We need that, but now we kind of just like extended our roadmap, and that may happen, like, right, and you may need to make those adjustments, but it's still good to just like start somewhere.
For sure. Yeah, 100%. Like you're saying, how I describe it is like the whole kind of theory behind going serial. One is just don't die, right? Figure out how to make sure that you have enough runway, you have enough kind of momentum going forward.
Yeah.
You're never gonna be able to foresee, like we just mentioned, right? This is where the revenue really lies, right?
Yeah.
Once you get to that point, it's really a matter of just allocating those resources and going forth from that side.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you were able to kind of pivot in that sense. But I'm curious as well. Obviously, before you came to us, you had already had the prototype, those kind of sketches. I'm curious, kind of with that journey, right? How was it? Obviously, we got connected via social media. I think it was an ad that you saw back in the day. So just kind of walk us through like kind of what that journey has been like. Seeing us for the first time, having those initial conversations, and up to where we're at right now.
Yeah, it's I don't know if it's God or algorithm.
But
probably a combination of both. But I had a prototype, and I had a very clear, had a lot of research. I knew what the vision was. I knew where I wanted to go. But I don't know how to code.
Yeah.
Nor do I want to. I actually looked into like maybe I can teach myself how to code, but I just want to work at a certain speed.
For sure.
I'm still working full time, so I really went on Instagram Live and kind of vented a little bit, and I was like, I have everything I need. I have a budget of 10K. I just need to find a team. And I was like, but I said something about
I mean, I'm someone who, I was self-taught developer when I was, 14, 15 years old. I love software, but, people.
kudos to you.
What I'm trying to say is like, you definitely shouldn't try to do everything yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And it comes down to doubling down on what you're good at, what your strengths are, and partnering with the right individuals to kind of fill in those gaps. I think that's where you can put yourself in a situation where 1 + 1 = 3. Right. And then we're able to have some synergies from there. But obviously, right, that was, I think, almost a year ago or something like that.
Yeah, literally.
So now we've got to the point that we're at right now. I'm curious with where we're at currently with Music Aid, right? At this point that's, kind of critical in the roadmap here. How do you foresee things kind of playing out in the next 12, 18, 24 months?
Definitely growth and expansion. Right now we hit a pivotal point. So the app is in the Apple Store. The MVP is developed, and we did a full like pre-launch kind of marketing.
Yeah.
Like again playing on my strengths because I had you guys. You were able to focus on the development for the product, but I was out to focus on the PR, the marketing, generating a user base, out there talking to the market. Getting news articles, etc. And I think from there, I realized how much effort it does take to generate these users and get them to sign up and get them on board. It's not, marketing's a marathon. It's basically, we were talking about that yesterday. And now it was also just like, okay, a lot of stuff we were doing for free, a lot of stuff we were getting out there, but then now that I'm here, it was like revenue.
Yeah.
Because as much as I like being in every room, that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
As much as I like traveling and going out there, I wrote down that we need to make sure Music Aid is in a place where it can function on its own without me funding it and without me being present. And so that's where we're looking at scale.
Yeah.
But then the next part is just growth too. So how can we generate more revenue? So we started looking at features specifically to do that. But also just building something that is attractive to not just a user base, but also to investors, crowdfunding, angels, etc.
Yeah, I think one thing that you've done quite well that I actually do want to put up in this and kind of maybe go a bit deeper is how you were able to generate that buzz, right, in that development cycle while we were still doing our thing on our side. Super grassroots, and then you had a ton of interns that you accepted as well. Walk us through kind of what those strategies. Obviously, don't give too much of the sauce.
I get the sauce. It don't matter. I want people. I'm a founder of founders. I love seeing people do what they want to do. I think the thing is nobody wants, at least on social media, nobody wants an ad. Nobody wants to watch a marketing sale. So brands these days need a mascot, basically, or a human face and voice. So they have this thing now called founders marketing. So by weaving my personal brand into and generating my following, and then bringing in Musicaid and my journey, what I'm doing, why is it important to me, why am I striving for it. A lot of times people supported me, not necessarily Musicaid. But then as my following grew, so did Musicaid. So it's kind of just like I was intentionally doing that, and to the point where the buzz kind of came to me in a way where I think the biggest thing is PR. Just focusing on that, like it took some months for that following to grow, but once that article hit, once another article hit, like once other people started to give me that recognition, it really just took off from there.
Yeah. And also, I know you've been doing some things as far as fundraising and doing some different sort of competitions. How has that kind of played into your strategy as well?
I think I don't know. Like, I think I've been blessed to where I work full time and I make what I make, and I've made some sacrifices to move back in with my parents and live at home, bill free, rent free. Like, I don't pay anything but my gym membership. So now my income is going fully into that. So I haven't really had a big need to fundraise. But as we grew, I was really only expecting to launch in like Dallas and Chicago. But then I had people in DC hitting me up, people in New York contacting me, and I was like, how can I reach them? And so again, it just went to like, if we want, we need more resources. So I applied to pitch competitions, to grants, to setting up crowdfunding, selling merch, like anything to do just to help generate that extra set of funds so that we can reach those additional markets.
And that's huge as well, like kind of knowing, what that runway looks like and where to allocate those funds.
Budgeting on a regular basis. So it's really like it's not always about being profit, but just having a positive cash flow. As long as you have that, you can maneuver funds in a way where okay, I have the working capital to do these events. And I think the reason why we're doing that, really going to these cities, is there's nothing like boots on the ground, getting in front of the users, hosting events, doing whatever you can to like create an experience around your brand where people feel it, they can touch it. And even though it's a software, like they have something tangible that they can take home to them, and remember the brand, remember who you are, and that's how we were able to get those signups right away.
I think one of the things that I think you really have to nail in this space in particular is really creating that experience, right? And I think that's something that's difficult to do if you're just focusing on the zeros and ones. As far as like this is the application, this is the interface, all that's great. You need to have that, but really creating an experience of that, like what feeling you might feel associated with the Musicaid brand, right? And that's what creates that lasting impression, as well as all of the other things as far as PR, marketing, all this come together into it. But having something where I'm a user, right? I'm a part of this ecosystem, right? I feel like I'm a part of this brand and this movement. I think
and that's how the team grew. Like I have people really reach out like, how can I work with you? Like it wasn't even like I want to use the app. It was like, dude, you're doing something amazing. And I think that always went back to the mission. And that was always clear, like why we're doing what we're doing. We really want to create a platform for artists to grow. We see that there's so much talent out there, but it's being dominated by algorithms and streams. They're really burnt out. They're not getting the growth that they're looking for. They're trying to reach that next level. They don't know how. And the music industry is shaken and nobody knows what to do. And so I was like, well, here's Musicaid. And I think when people saw that mission, they were signing up right away, either to use the app, but also to like join and support that mission. And I think making that very clear on why you're doing what you're doing, you'll be surprised who like raises their hand just to sign up and work with you.
100%. I think that's what's the saying, right? Is it missionaries or mercenaries? You have people who are bought into the cause and can really kind of put themselves behind what you're looking to do and what you're looking to accomplish. Have it be bigger than yourself, and then from there, it takes a life of its own. I'm sure you've seen that as well, kind of having it snowball into its own.
I looked around, I was like, I got a team of 30 right now. It's crazy. I'm like, whoa, where'd you guys get here? But it's still there. So.
No, it's a blessing for sure. And I'm curious as well. Obviously, you mentioned one thing about community, right? How pivotal has it been kind of leveraging the community that you found yourself in, obviously being in the music space, right? For feedback, just for even beta testers, how pivotal has that been in terms of?
Well, I think a lot of people, everyone's focused on community pieces. Every brand is trying to create this community, but I think the problem is it's very transactional. Like, it feels like a trap. Like, they kind of entice you with this emotional draw, and then you get there and it's nothing but they're selling you stuff. I was very adamant about, like, people, my team was asking me, like, let's do like a raffle or let's do something to get people to sign up, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
Like, that's not how we want to do it. If the product and experience is not valuable enough where people want to sign up on their own, where they actively choose to be here, then we're missing the mark. And I don't want to trick people into using the product, because that's how you lose them and you realize what you actually done. So I think that's the biggest thing in the community is what can we give has always been the focus. And then naturally, people will see the value in that, and that's what you hope. But if not, learn from it, correct it, and come back with something better.
Yeah. No, the biggest thing is like you want to be able. I mean, in any efficient market, right? There's if you're always taking value, right? Then it's a zero-sum game.
Right.
But if you can give more, then it's just more sustainable growth process as opposed to like growth hacks or the cases.
Yeah.
And I think nowadays we now live in this like short form, like social media kind of environment where everything is like a 2-second tidbit or whatever.
Right.
And that's not how you build a sustainable, movement there. It's more so how can I actually like develop a long-term strategy to give, and then give some more.
Yeah.
And then at the tail end of that, I can get ahead and think. So I do really love that as far as your strategy there. That's huge.
One more thing though is every community needs a place to host it.
For sure.
So yeah, you have your product, but we built systems in place where we created like group chats on Instagram per city. So it's like Music Aid Chicago, Music Aid Dallas, and we invited our user base to just promote their own stuff, collaborate, work together. We use our website to help draw in people as well. They was able to sign up. We had our email chain. So it is looking at like what systems and channels are you using to communicate and promote and facilitate this community, and what events do you have, etc. I think that was also just like something we paid very close attention to is how we actually like foster where is the community, where can it be found? Really, I think that's the key.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things I was going to ask as well. Like, I think obviously you kind of just answered this, but when it comes down to how you position Music Aid to stand out in a somewhat crowded kind of market as far as the music space, right? Is that what you would say you kind of honed in on the most? Like you just honed in on that to have kind of what's the word? Separate yourself in that sense.
I don't know. I think it wasn't necessarily a how can we compete thing. It was just all about like how can we serve. Again, it's just like I think, but the way that we did it maybe stood out. So we knew that some of these apps out there, they may provide like one piece of it, but we always just focus on not serve, but where are the gaps.
Yeah.
And if those are the gaps that are not being met, how can Music Aid fulfill them? And I think that's something we're still asking every single day.
Yeah, no, that's huge. I think that's what's going to drive growth as far as like. I think especially because I kind of got to go 0 to 1 with other startup founders would be like, super focused as far as competitors, what are competitors doing. But I think getting into that kind of race, you end up chasing your own tail, right? Really having a mission-driven focus and trying to feel like, okay, how can we actually give back to the community is the biggest thing that I think separates those that actually can go far. So you're hearing that. And I'm curious as well, obviously, with the launch, right, and everything going on right now, what are some learnings, right, in this kind of 0 to 1 process that, if you were to go back and have a time machine to day one that you would have done differently in that process?
I don't know. I'm a cheat code here because I'm 10 years in the gaming product.
Yeah.
So I've launched many times. I've learned a lot of lessons before getting to this point. So like there was actually probably this was one of the most smoothest like launch ever, working with the team and working with Benmore. Really not many hiccups were there. I think initially though was when we first started, there's always that storming phase, right? We're getting to know each other's styles, we're getting to know each other's communication. I wouldn't even say that's like a lesson learned, but it is an experience like you kind of have to just like grit through. The other thing would just be, number one is making sure that I'm healthy, and because if I'm in a place where I'm down, then so technically it's the business. And so there's always making sure that I'm eating well, I'm sleeping, I'm not burning myself out throughout this journey is like number one key thing. I think the last thing would just be to make sure that getting comfortable with the constant like PR. So thankfully I have had people on my team push me to be more out front and get out there and talk and pitch the mission, because I would go places and like kind of hide. I'm like, are you sure? Like, you want to hear about this? And you do. And I should just thought about this, but you will fail. There will be times where it messes up. We've hosted events and the mixer didn't work, or the venue wasn't really what we thought it was going to be, or we did miss the mark on our MVP. We need to make some adjustments. I think just being very adaptable, and I started changing it to, so what if you fail? Like, so what? Like, oh well, like keep it going. Learn from it, move forward. And that's just get used to that being the process. is a thing.
Yeah, no, I think that's the biggest thing. I think people, we have sort of this like, there's a mental block around, this boogeyman in our head is like failure, so to speak. And I think there's a lot of like societal reasons for that, but when you really break down, like, what are you actually afraid of? If you, like you're saying, what does that actually do? Right? It's just an opportunity for us to get
So at the show,
exactly.
like, so it's literally
Show us what's going on.
it was delayed a little bit, it's okay, but we made it work. It's cool.
Show what's going on, and those are the things that you can put in your back pocket and say, I've come through these experiences, and now I'm a better founder for that.
Yeah.
And so I think now one of the things that obviously myself in business as well is like, okay, how can I reframe these experiences? And there are a lot of those. Right? Those hiccups that come across along the way. How can you reframe these experiences as lessons?
Yeah,
right?
literally.
And really go from there. And then now in your back pocket, you say you have that much more confidence, right? Having gone through that. So I think that's huge. But I also. I was gonna say, so you mentioned obviously working with a team, right? Talk to us a little bit more just about kind of what the experience has been like. What are some things that went well, and then also like if you were to recommend, obviously working with a team, like this to other prospective founders that were in that same spot.
Dude, I crushed it. Like I've worked with a lot of development teams, many different cultures, many different countries. Many different experiences, ages, etc. Like this was one of my favorites. I think y'all's dedication and attention to detail really stood out to me because I'm that way. I will get down to the nitty-gritty requirement as much as needed, and you all's flexibility to go there with me was great. I think also just I was introduced to a lot of new ways. As much as I've been in this product world, I haven't really done waterfall as much, but I saw the benefits of it. When you're a first-time founder, budget is essential. So by having that kind of fix, like this is what we're gonna build, this is how long we're gonna spend on it, this is how much we're gonna put money into it. It was assuring for me to know exactly what I'm getting and like what it takes to have it. Where Agile, you can really overspend very quickly. And so that was kind of new, but I was very open to it, and I was coaching in that was there. But not to say there wasn't some agile aspects. We definitely made some pivots, we made some changes, but it was still in that sense. I've already started recommending you all. I've already started letting people know if you have an app idea, you need to go to Benmore. Like they will give you the service that you need for the value that you're getting is unmatched. And so I'm always now letting people know to go to Benmore.
No, I appreciate that. I think one of the things that we really try to hone in on, right, in this space is we really care. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, I don't think we do anything super special. I mean, code is code at the end of the day. Doing zeros and ones and stuff like that. But from the top down, like I said, myself, Richard, we've both kind of been in that environment ourselves of being individual contributors into projects and really caring. And it's like that is the only way that you're able to kind of go zero to one, especially in this kind of like I said, bootstrapped or early stage environment is everyone has to care, right? Everyone has to really own what they're doing. I think I won't take the credit. I haven't run a single line code on your application. We have a phenomenal team that's done that, and that's what we really try to pride ourselves in going forward. But I definitely do appreciate that, and I really do.
You will set expectations really low too. I think the hardest part of being a product manager is managing expectations of everyone, right? Because everyone has their ideas and what they want. I liked how you all were from the jump, like, look, this is what we do. We're gonna help you get your MVP, launch it to the market, and send you off to fly.
Yeah.
And I was like, got it. Like after that, I'm here. And so now that I'm here, we've done that.
Yeah.
Like we've also had a very smooth handoff.
Transition.
Right? Like now that I'm in the app store, the app is here. We had our final handoff, and we didn't miss a beat in development. Like I think I ended up hiring real developers full time because I was like, you already know everything, you already have all the access, you know the code, you know architecture. So we brought him on, and that we literally like ended our sprint with you guys, started our sprint on with the new team, and it was just like the smoothest handoff ever. Knowledge transfer like seconds.
Yeah.
And so I even like respect that, like where you set the expectation and just help me mentally prepare like what's to come.
100%. I think one thing you mentioned as well is like kind of that mix between waterfall and agile. There's obviously trade-offs with that. With us, we're like, okay, how can we, knowing who we're helping, right? Primarily first time, primarily self-funded founders, right? How can we go ahead and really position ourselves in a way that we're mitigating risk as much as possible, right? And I think the biggest thing that ends up killing a lot of startups in that phase is like overconsumption of scope, right? Especially if you're in an agile environment where you're being billed time materials or whatever the case may be, right? You say, oh, let's go ahead and build out features A, B, and C, and that turns out to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you know, stuff from there, right? And so our biggest thing is we can definitely do that, right? But if we're coming at it from how can we mitigate risk as much as possible to get to the point where we're at, you know, in the market, really focusing on that, like I said, that asymmetric subset of scope that we can focus on launch, and then from there, there's a million different ways you can go after that, right? Having your own internal team, whatever the case may be, right? We want to help you get to that 0 to 1, and then now give you the optionality to do what's best for you at this stage of your growth. And I think that's what you mentioned, right? It's been really good as far as seeing you do that as well. Obviously, we were able to help connect the initiative with that, and one of our developers do that on your side, but that's the biggest thing that we want to see, right? How we can get to 0 to 1, and then from there, give you that optionality. Go ahead and spread your wings and fly. So that's fun.
We're going.
Amazing. So I mean, that's basically what I wanted to just discuss about. Obviously, like I said, yourself not new to the game as far as products, right? But you know, for sort of building your own, it's been really great to see your journey and the growth that you've been able to foster so far. Any kind of closing remarks as far as wanting to plug anything, or just some future plans that you see as well?
Sure. I think to all the other founders out there, I'll tell you what another founder told me. His name is Fonz, one of the co-founders of Spill, and this literally changed my whole perspective. But he basically, in the most respectful way, didn't cuss me out, but cussed me out because, and I'm just going to tell you the value of working with Ben more. Is he told me, he was like, you mean to tell me that you have a product, you have a team, you have a business plan, you have all these things. Why are you not shopping this out to investors? Why are you not after getting and securing the millions of dollars that are out there in this tech world? And I was like, I didn't even consider that to be like a possibility. I didn't consider that to be a thing. And he was like, dream bigger. Like, I need you to really imagine how far your product can go. Because I think we got very focused on MVP and very, like, just hit the launch and just get there. And I'm very short term and very like in the near future. But he really did force me to think about like what the vision is. And so now, from now into 2026, the goal is to raise 500K to $1 million, to get into the new year and have that funding, start meeting with investors. So I've already started scheduling those calls. And so to those founders out there, is dream big. As much as you want to get to the technical, to the zeros and ones, and you need to budget, you need to do all these things we just talked about, never stop dreaming. Always imagine exactly how far it can go, because you'll be surprised how that will influence like what you actually strive for. And so here, I wouldn't even imagine that I'm setting up meetings with investors trying to ask for $1 million, but here we are. And I think thanks to Benmore though, we have the things to do that. A lot of people go in meetings with these investors asking for a couple mil with just an idea. Like they just got a PowerPoint deck that they just whipped up and made up some numbers and like, yeah, this is it. But now we have a credible, viable product that works. We have a credible, viable user base actively here. And so it's just like, I'm in these meetings a lot more confident to ask what I'm asking for, knowing the value that we deliver.
And that's huge. I think one thing that I definitely heard myself as well is the exact same idea, right? You can only really achieve as much as you believe. Right, it's so corny and so cheesy.
But it's right beside me.
Manifestation area
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But it's 100% true, right? If you don't see yourself as that founder, you can go ahead and raise that, $1 million round, but you're not gonna get there, right?
Yeah.
So being able to first and foremost have the prerequisites, like you said, the MVP, and actually have your stuff unlocked, right?
Yeah.
In those meetings, is huge. But then from there, just envisioning it and going out and achieving it. And myself, I can speak for myself, and I'm sure you as well. I mean, most people who are in these environments, you can look back in your career and say, every time I put my mind to something, I'll achieve that,
Yeah.
right, without fail. And so I have no question that's going to do the same thing going forward these days. So I'm excited. I'm super excited to kind of, play a spectator role in your guys' journey and kind of see where this goes. But I think as of right now, it's been a pleasure, right, just being a part of that.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm super excited. But yeah, any closing remarks for the people as well, plug anything?
No, I mean, of course, download Music.ly, donate, buy merch, all the above. Our goal is to raise, again, 500K to $1 million. So definitely look at our website at www.music.app and definitely be on the lookout. We're definitely shaking some things up. So if you don't know about us now, you will.
Awesome.
Thanks.
There we go.
Cool. All right, man. Let's get this footage.
Yeah.
And I think we should be good to go. What time is it?
12:40.
11:46.
All right, then we're gonna use this space a little bit longer, and then I can send you footage, and then I send Charles questions and stuff too. We can just get those quick sound bites, and then we should be pretty good. Let me get this mic from you. And then just text me like an email. I can send you raw footage. Do you have somebody that can edit? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. You was on here too? That's crazy. Oh.
Yeah, I was going live.
Oh, true. All right, yeah, we can grab that.
Awesome.
And then,
That was smooth.
yeah, bro. Thanks.
Solid.
Let's get y'all mic'd up. Let's do this.
See what these crazy fools talking about.
Yeah, what's the comments looking like?
Oh, just emojis. Sometimes on YouTube they be ruthless, but yeah, they seem like they're chilling.
Alright, let's get you on here. Where you want to sit, Mimi?
Oh, gosh, man.
You got time to take this call real quick?
No, yeah, go ahead. There we go. Ooh, okay. I don't even know how to use this stuff. Alright, it's testing 1, 2, 3.
It is warm.
It's hot, bro.
It's definitely giving out vibes.
Yeah, no, I was over there kind of cooking.
I'm like, oh my eyes showing itself.
Alright, and then let's get you all right here. This mostly because I got a lot of content as y'all saw. So this mostly for y'all. That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cheap too, only like $30. So you gonna be in the white or you gonna, how you gonna
Where you gonna sit? It don't matter to me. I think long as we can fit all three of us in there.
Oh yeah, we all,
Yeah.
that'll work. I think you can make it work.
Alright, in that case, let me do this over some. And I can stay right there. And then let's get you. My only thing was I felt like this should have been more like here. Yeah. Of course. As long as this isn't blocking this camera. A high key is. Alright. Zoom in later. Yep. Alright, we're gonna those questions on your phone?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Record on this.
Yeah, I think if you want, oh yeah, you got one yours.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Oh, just so you can see them, so when you're asking and stuff.
I should. I low key. Nah, you got me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cause I was like, this is gonna take too much time. But a couple things, Scholars, we want to talk about the show in October, Shiny Fest, hype that up, and then talk about. Remember I told you those services. So Music K is a creative team for these artists and venues and DJs to come to us. Top 3 things that I feel like most DJs so far come to Music K because they want to do their own like branded event or event series. They kind of want to launch their brand, get their name out there as a DJ. So they're looking to get an event series out there.
Yeah, residency.
Yeah,
for sure.
And venues, same thing. They want to do like a music series or a concert or something to increase traffic, increase revenue. And then artists, usually they have an album or EP rollout that they want to do. They don't really know how. So they want to do listening parties, they need to do promos, they need to do shoots, music videos, all that. They're like, I just need that team to help me grow my fan base and get my socials out there and help promote my music.
Sure.
So we can definitely hit on those, but I'm gonna kind of flow with this too. It's just like, let's just start with intros and let's maybe just let's start with Shiny Fest. Like, what is it from everybody's perspective and why does the city need it? All right, so let's just start with intros. So we can go this way, this direction.
Hi, I'm Mimi, event wizard for Music Aid.
Nice.
Hey, I'm DJ Scully, DJ producer, marketing, little event coordination, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Hey, I'm Jerome Dotson, and I'm the founder and CEO of Music Aid, and this is your Music Aid Chicago team. So let's talk a little bit about this upcoming Shiny Fest. So what is it? And let's like really hype this up. So we can also crop and sound bite, but Mimi, what is Shiny Fest?
So, Shy Indie Fest is a great opportunity October 31st where independent artists are coming together. It collaborates not collaborates, but the purpose of Music Aid is to support independent artists in Chicago, collaborating with venues. So the venue is on the south side of Chicago. It's just really important for the city because there's nothing else like it. And independent artists, they should be able to have an opportunity to perform. And just because you may not have the budget or you may not have the backing just yet, you still need support. So definitely check out Shiny Fest.
So why do you think the city of Chicago needs Shiny Fest?
Well, kind of piggybacking on what Mimi just said, Music Aid Shiny Fest. Halloween edition is on the south side. I'm a south sider, so I'm always trying to put on for my side of the city. I'm trying to reshape, like people's thoughts and misconceptions of the south side. And I think the city needs that, a cultural thing. Artists need venues to perform at. Artists need support from an organic, entity like Music Aid. There's not a big industry for like PR, marketing, helping artists grow here in Chicago. Artists always feel like they have to go to New York, you gotta go to LA, you gotta hit those cities. Those are the ones that are gonna cultivate, which is kind of true to an extent, but we're changing the culture and that's always been a huge goal of mine, was to provide spaces, to be able to help break down the barriers for, underground hip hop, R&B, alternative, especially Black artists from Chicago, artists of color.
Nice, yeah. I think to me, Shiny Fest is about, we are looking to bring back where we used to be. There was a time before the algorithms and the streams where you knew who the artists were in your city that you had to support. Whether they performed and you heard their music at your school dances or at the kickbacks or at the family reunions, you knew who those artists were, and we want to bring that back. And so ultimately, Shiny Fest is the stage dedicated to all the independent artists in Chicago. discover who they are, support them, listen to their music. If you're an independent artist in Chicago and you're not on the stage, you should be asking why. And I think that's the ultimate question. Is we want to provide that for you. This is also for the fans. I can't say it, but what's the DJ? This is for Chicago. But like this is literally like we're trying to bring in the vendors, the sponsors, the food, all Chicago, all for you, and really bring it back to like this is your culture. This is your city, and we just wanted to create a platform for it. Mm-hmm. Okay, what else can we talk about? What's some of those questions again?
So not next, what's the hardest part about being an artist in Chicago right now?
You definitely got it on that too.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. I just like that. Well, we kind of were just, I kind of talked about it a little bit with my short blurb about Shy Indie Fest. One of the most difficult things about being an artist in Chicago is having, like an entity be able to cultivate and help you build your brand. A lot of artists don't know what direction to go. Like you said earlier as well, I have so many artists coming to me like, oh, I have an EP dropping. I'm like, okay, tell me a little about it. Have you thought about the concept, how you want to sell the story, how you want to promote yourself? When is it dropping? What do you want it to look like?
Right.
What do you envision? And be realistic about it at the same time. Someone that can kind of an entity to give you feedback to help cultivate. Because I see so many artists, they do a launch party. It might be successful. The event might be successful. But is it leading to any streams? Is it leading to you getting booked more?
Right.
And that's something, being a marketing major myself, I always thought about for events, projects, anything I was doing as an artist, how can I make it interesting? How can I get eyes on it? How can it be something where it's memorable?
Yeah.
Kind of thinking outside the box and getting outside perspective. And I love what you were talking about earlier about how it's not like a honeypot. It's like a genuine, we want to support artists. We're trying to get this money too, trust me. But we want to support artists and we genuinely love art and music. And, we want Chicago to glow up. We want to be regarded with LA. Even Atlanta now. It's like, every city seems like they're a step ahead.
And to points to what you guys spoke about, like community, right? And then not having to leave Chicago, right? To have those experiences. There's so many industries that are facing that in Chicago. So for Music Aid to be able to bring that all in one, to be an advocate for yourself, but for other communities, for other vendors, I think it's pretty special. So definitely that's, I think, another benefit for Shy Indie Fest. So people can see how the app works for Music Aid, see the benefits of it, see how other artists are on the app, how they're using it, and again, how they're able to advocate for themselves. Again, if they don't have a huge backing, if they don't have a ton of money, it's so many benefits within it.
So I have a question then, as we just talked about how hard it is to really get to that next level as an artist or really being a DJ or whatever. You may have gotten started, you may have had some success, but you're really just looking for that consistency. What would you say has been your most best work in music so far, either this year, recent, or ever? And what did you think it took that you did to get there?
Well, I'm not an artist. I am an event producer and I manage a venue. So being able to have a platform, again, where I can put an event together, right? Currently managing a Black-owned venue. It's bi-level at 11,000 square feet. It's able to hold musical productions because we have a stage, we have PA system, we have lighting, we have chairs. But we also need to get the people in, we also need to book the venue, So again, organically, building that community is something that I love doing actually. And I think this is where I found very special within Music Aid, because what other platform really does that? I use things like Peerspace to find venues, or just, reaching out to my network. I think I want to be able to find my photographers, find my DJs, see what other venues have without having to do huge Google searches and having to, hit up different, group chats and things like that. So that's how I like to utilize it. And again, while I'm not an artist, just putting events together. I want it to be a seamless experience. For my clients, I think it's beneficial to be able to show them like this platform can, better serve you. I love cohesiveness, being able to put the details together in one place versus reaching out to different various things. One-stop shops. I'm very
That's
for
exactly what I'm saying. One stop
one-stop
shop.
shops.
That's right.
And as event producers, we love that. We love that. It helps us with our experience. It goes over for our clients. And to again to book the business because the idea is to generate revenue. So I think that's what's important to me.
I think you're saying you're not an artist, but you know artists, right? So when we hosted the Music Live Chicago at 7, we were looking for artists, and you were bringing them in. So even as like an event producer, you were able to use Music to create a platform and work with the other artists. And also as you're working with that venue, you're helping bringing in foot traffic, and now that venue's like, hey, how can we do more of this? How can we do more music event series? Because they do see the value of it. You're getting bar sales, you're getting ticket sales, you're getting people to experience the venue, etc. And so I just think about like you having that network, and with Music Cake, you was able to kind of put it all together. So I think that's pretty cool too.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, I guess I'll talk about some of what was the exact question? Was like the successes that
Kind of
I've
like
seen.
what's like one project or area where you saw like a lot of success in music? Or,
Oh yeah,
yeah, because you have a lot of range.
Yeah, no,
too.
yeah. What I was gonna say is like, yeah, I like wearing a lot of different hats. I always tell people more than anything, I'm a huge music lover. I used to say music junkie, but I'm not gonna use that term because we're in the house of the Lord.
You're literally the church.
But yeah, I've always been a huge music lover. I love music. I love discovering new artists. That was just my thing since I was like 6 years old. Was figuring out, like I would go to a Dr. Dre song and like figure out every song he sampled, and then like what instruments, everything that was played. I was just such a music nerd. So now that I'm in the industry as like a DJ and an event producer, I've been completely independent. I haven't had any management, no PR, and I've managed to acquire multiple residencies. I've, had a bucket list of venues that I've almost complete. I gotta add more venues to my bucket list because I've been able to get into those spaces organically. Them reaching out like, oh, I think you would be a good fit because of the way like I promote myself, promote my brands and my team. And the thing is, with Music Aid, it gives me a chance to, as a producer and a promoter, I can help my artists be seen. All artists want the cosign. They want the sense of legitimacy. They want to be associated with brands, with venues,
Right.
Places that they can build on their EPK, their press kit. I ask a lot of artists, okay, where's your press kit? Where's your bio? Where's this? Where are your shoots? Where are your links? Where like, you can put all those things. And it gets to the point now where I have my corporate clients, I have my partnerships, my venues, so I can kind of like list those, and it's just easy. If I want to tour, go to New York. I'm like, hey, when I was in Chicago, I did Talia Hall. I was with Music K, I was with Lululemon, and the thing with Music K is like, it's a brand they can tie to. They're like, okay, I performed at Shy Indie Fest with Music K,
Yep.
and to make the pot even sweeter, Music Aid also helps you promote your stuff, so it's like a double-edged sword. It's just like a beautiful thing. So I'm excited to see how
You just had a show, right? So how did
Oh yeah, all the time. Well, the last show that I did was at Beat Kitchen, and that was a venue I've been wanting to do for a while. Yeah, me came through and hung out. I played with my band. Like, see now the thing that I've been doing is like, like now that I feel like I've kind of like solidified and built the name as DJ Scully, I'm like doing other projects, like kind of like testing out, like playing with a band, adding live instruments, adding different concepts. So I have a concept called Scully in the Faculty, which is where I play with my band, we jam, I bring other artists through, so it's kind of like, an experience for them where they're just like flowing through. It's not like your average the hip hop showcase where it's like, okay, one artist goes. It's kind of like it flows. It's like a whole set, and I'm just big on production value, and I thought that went great. I have a lot of others. I got Residency Cafe Mustache and Subterranean Industry Night. And obviously we got Shy Indie Fest coming up, October 31st.
Yes.
So as you see, Chicago, there is a lot of talent on the Music Cade Chicago team, and we want to help and work with you. We want to either create the show for you, create the brand for you, work with you to grow your audience. It really can range. I think a lot of times, a lot of these artists that are really at that step to reach the next level, they just need that creative team, someone to help them with that strategy, someone to help them manage their resources and their efforts. And not only can you work with the Music Aid team, but you can use the Music Aid app to do a lot of this on your own. In the future, you'll see in the app that there will be contracting, booking, gig management, invoicing, collaboration, and messaging, where you, as Mimi was saying, like you're bringing in the artist, you're working with the venue, you're maybe hiring security. We're not necessarily just trying to be a one-stop shop, but we are seeing that, like, if you haven't noticed and experienced that a lot of this is all over the place. If you ever produced a concert or a festival or a show or really any event, you see how a lot of it is independent contractors and a lot of it is not standardized. And so what we're trying to do here is give you a platform to do just that, especially if you're just getting started. You're maybe asking us questions of how, and with Music Aid is going to be that answer for you. So I guess anything else.
You know, excellence, black excellence. I think it represents excellence in the neighborhood and the culture. Yeah, it represents shy culture. And it's on Halloween, one of the best holidays ever. It's always lit. Every holiday event is always dope. People come through with the amazing costumes. So I think it's going to be exciting. It's going to be a thrill. And, you know, we're putting on for the culture. I think culture is a really good thing. It's going to tie a lot of things together.
Have you ever, I'm really trying to, have you ever been to a Halloween party and a music festival combined?
No, I've never done both.
Right. Are we really doing that?
I feel like, I swear Halloween is always a big event for me. Like that season, I kind of have realized, because in the last couple of years, I've really taken my DJing and my like showcases a lot more seriously than I did in the past. So I like break down like the numbers. I break down how my year goes. Yeah. So I realized after January 1st, it's going to slow. And it kind of picks back up during the fall, like April, it really picks back up. And I always used to assume, like, oh yeah, summertime shy. It's lit. It's a lot going on. But I realized fall is really dope in Chicago too. It's amazing. Yeah. The weather is great. You know, it's like a lot of holidays. It's like a lot of things going on. So Halloween, I think, is the perfect time to, you know, hit them on the head with a really flash showcase.
Yeah, it gets a little spooky.
Yeah, you know, I like how you say it all spooky.
What else you mean, in a few words, what does Shy Indie Fest mean to you?
I would go back to community-based, fun, because it is Halloween, and just a good time. You know, everyone's always looking for something to do in Chicago, always, and I think it's really cool to be able to contribute to that. Having artists who cannot probably get into venues because they don't have a big enough platform or like a large following, to be a part of that, I think, again, is exciting. Like you said, it's fun, and it's community based, which I love.
Yeah, I think one thing for me is this is a stage where we don't care about your following. We don't care about the number of streams that you have. We understand that it takes a lot to break into that, and not all time viability equals talent. This is a stage where we want to know who is the best artist in the city right now on Halloween that we can create a platform for Chicago. And if that's you, then you need to be on working with Music Aid. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, Shy Indie Fest.
Shy Indie Fest 2025 Halloween.
You a ghost?
Casper. Can't see me.
Alright, bro. No, that was good. Anything else y'all want to cover? Y'all feel like we We good or
I mean, I thought it was cool.
okay?
What
What
you
you
I think that was good.
All right, yeah, we can. There's a lot of sound bites in this, so we can definitely. Let me cut this off. But we can definitely chop this up, get this going, and then Scully, I was telling Mimi like, we have Did this phone die?
Oh, was that what the audio was?
That was. Okay. Well. Oh my.
I wonder how long ago was that.
Dang.
See how much we can salvage.
God.